If you're looking for the answer to the age-old question of what the heck is the difference between the Army and the Marines, the answer is simply the Milker MGL 6-shot 40mm grenade launcher. It's standard issue for the Marines, but the Army doesn't get to have it. They can't even touch it. No, you're not even allowed to look at it. Each Marine company, per the textbook, sets up with 3 of these multi-round grenade launchers. And if you want something in the 40mm variant with a higher rate of fire than this grenade launcher, you'd have to step up all the way to the 77-pound Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher. Not exactly a piece of equipment that these spaghetti arms could carry around. The M32 fires 40mm grenades and holds 6 grenades at a time with a maximum effective range of 400 meters. It's basically what would happen if a revolver had a baby with an M203. One of my favorite quotes about grenades comes from Sebastian Junger, a famous war correspondent. Quote, "A grenade launcher will easily take out a tank. A Molotov cocktail placed in its air intake will destroy one as well." Now, the M406 version of the 40mm grenade that it fires had within it 300 fragments that would travel at 1,524 meters per second, which give that round a kill radius of 5 meters from the impact. You won't find a civilian version of it anytime soon. Wait, never mind, they're selling a few of these on the interwebs for 15,000 bucks a pop, so let me rephrase that. You won't find a version of this that you can easily afford. I guess we'll have to settle for the AIRSOFT version. Oh crap, it's $159. I'll have to choose between eating and ordering this for my weekly military cosplay I do at the boardwalk. Before you spring for the $15,000 real version, I'm pretty sure the 40mm high explosive grenades aren't rated for civilians yet, so all you'll have is an expensive paperweight. But that doesn't make it any less fascinating to look at this M32 grenade launcher and learn about it. The M32 was designed originally by Andreas C. Paik. It was conceived in South Africa in 1983 by the Milker Company. The idea was you could put rounds downrange, you could increase the infantry platoon's firepower and ability to suppress the enemy with just one weapon. Each 40mm round had a spin-activated safety that prevents the grenade from arming within range of the shooter. It needs to travel at least 14 to 30 meters first before arming. The Milker grenade launcher weighs 12 pounds, so that's a lot heavier than these single shot grenade launchers. It's similar in that you can load it with different types of ammo, high explosive, anti-riot, or pyrotechnic, or irritant can be loaded into the chambers as well. There's even a 40mm TASER round now. I'd never heard of that one before. It sends 50,000 volts of pulsed shocks through metal barbs that adhere to the target. The energy in the TASER round is way less than a typical 40mm. It doesn't have nearly the same velocity as the other rounds, so this won't go straight through you. It's only meant to be used at a distance of around 10 meters. Then it can be fired as fast as the trigger can be pulled, so start doing those finger curls now. Anybody carrying the M32 is designated by the official MOS called the noob tuber. That's right, every single soldier using the M32 is a filthy casual. The cylinder can be loaded rapidly to maintain a high rate of fire. The multi-shot grenade launcher has a selector switch above the rear of the pistol grip, and it can be operated on both sides of the weapon for ambidextrous use. Fortunately for all the clumsy privates out there looking to have a negligent discharge, the launcher can't be accidentally discharged even if you drop it, and someone will drop it. The way to load and unload this bad boy is to release the cylinder pin, swing the steel frame away from the cylinder in a break-off fashion. The weapon can then be loaded by inserting the grenades into the empty cylinders, which cannot be removed. Once loaded, the frame is closed and the pin is re-engaged for a tight, solid lock. The trigger is a double action, which requires that strong trigger pull finger. When a misfire happens, the trigger can be repeatedly pulled. Sights on the grenade launcher are always interesting because of the steep arc of the relatively low velocity rounds. The sight gives a single aiming post and the operator uses it with both eyes open. The post is placed onto the intended target, and the post is meant to be used as a reference for judging distance because it's about the same height as a person would be at 200 meters. That's how the iron sights work, but all Marines with the M32 are issued the M2A1 grenade launcher optic, which increases the weapon's capability dramatically. The M2A1 aim point optic was specifically designed to compensate for the arc that a 40mm grenade travels when fired. The reticle is a red dot sight that allows you to place the sight on target and fire instead of lining up the iron sights. It has a built-in light sensor that gets brighter during the day and then dims at night automatically. They adopted the cylinder revolver style grenade launcher for similar reasons to having the old M79 around. It was meant to fill the capability gap between the hand grenade and the 60mm mortar round. Many people still miss the Vietnam era M79, and occasionally you'll hear rumors of Special Forces operators still carrying the old standalone grenade launcher around because of its simplicity and its reliability. I could do a whole video on the Thumper, but the idea was if you were a soldier with just the M79, you were potentially unable to defend yourself in closer range engagements. Since its introduction, the grenade launcher has undergone some improvements due to user feedback. The Milker grenade launcher now is called the Super 6 MRGL. Sounds like a villain from a Power Rangers episode. Milker USA, the company that makes the grenade launcher for the Marines, has no relationship to the South African company that originally produced it. The 2014 version is called the Mark 14 Mod 0. Its barrel has been shortened. They made the rest of the parts reinforced and stronger. This way it still weighs the same as the old version, but with a shortened barrel. They did this in anticipation that the weapon would be needed to be fired at higher pressure for the medium velocity rounds that the Marine Corps planned on adopting. One of the only downsides of the weapon is the same problem that has always plagued standalone grenade launchers. It requires a dedicated soldier to carry it. They can't really carry a rifle and their grenade launcher because of the weight restrictions. This is part of the reason why the US military stopped carrying around the standalone XM25, because it's hard to defend yourself against a variety of threats when you only have one type of weapon. It's great to keep on top of the vehicle and grab if you need it, but that keeps its use limited. It has a muzzle velocity of 75 meters per second for the MGL version, and for the MRGL 40 it fires at an increased 125 meters per second. While the maximum range is 400 meters, the weapon is ideally used in the 150 meter range. After firing the 6 shots out of the spring-driven cylinder, you have to wind it back up in order to fire it again. The weapon isn't used as widely as some others, with only Turkey, Georgia, and Mexico employing it, with all of our other allies missing from that list of nations. The M32 has seen some of its most extensive use in riot situations. It's no stranger to the phalanx formation police in pads and bulletproof shields line up in. This allows riot police to fire multiple canisters of tear gas and less than lethal rounds to disperse a crowd of people that they strongly disagree with. Close doesn't count in baseball. Close only counts in horseshoes and grenades. Frank Robinson, professional baseball player, 1899. When you think about it, the grenade launchers are really just a modern-day improvement of the ancient slingshot technology that Bart Simpson employed with tactical perfection for years. The principle behind a slingshot was to lob a fuse grenade at the enemy from far away. Please remember to like and subscribe for more content on guns and military history. Chris Cappy from Task and Purpose, out.